Now, we all know that movie stars have been on the decline for years now. It's very hard to find a young actor that has the same kind of charisma as the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis, Denzel Washington, Tom Cruise. All these older actors are dying out, and what are we left with? We've got Timothy Chalamet, we've got Bill Skarsgård. One actor I do like is Mia Goth. Actually, she's actually pretty good. Um, Apart from that, there's not a lot. I saw the Willy Wonka movie with Timothy Chalamet. I turned it off after 10 minutes. And not necessarily because of his performance, just the quality of the movie. And so here's an article that was written in May this year. The movie star is dying because nobody wants to be one. This is by Douglas Greenwood. He goes on to say that there's an actress, Mikey Madison. She won an Academy Award for a performance in Anora, and nearly a year since then, she hasn't really done a lot. There was rumours that she was going to be in a Star Wars movie opposite Ryan Gosling. Yes, there is a Star Wars movie starring Ryan Gosling. It's like Disney just doesn't learn anything. And they've got Sean Levy to direct it. You might ask, who's Sean Levy? What has he directed? Well, he's directed Deadpool, Free Guy, Night at the Museum. Just quality movies, Anyway, back to the topic at hand. She turned this role down, and she instead signed on to a strange indie thriller from a director few people had heard of. So, fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't want to attach my name to these kind of just ridiculous films that they've been pushing out over the years, all these Marvel blockbusters. The film industry claims to be in crisis because it's not making movie stars anymore. In a recent national research study, it was revealed that none of the 25 actors that would bring American audiences to theatres were under 30. 2 decades ago, the hottest stars were everywhere, leading blockbusters and studio comedies, covering magazines and dominating tabloids. The art house actors, the Daniel Day-Lewises and Philip Seymour Hoffmans, mostly chose a quieter life. This new generation is operating in an industry built on the ashes of those who were burned by it. And it goes on to say that a lot of these big actors, Leonardo DiCaprio and things like that, they carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. They're big stars, and they're in the limelight all the time, constantly with the paparazzi, and a lot of these young actors don't want to be a part of this. I mean, I can understand why. The advancement of social media and the internet, every single step that you take, it's being filmed and recorded. Why would you want to be a part of that? I like my privacy. We're living in the era of the art throb, unconventionally handsome, notably sensitive stars. Today's stars don't act like stars. They're making interesting choices and trying as much as possible to keep themselves out of the limelight. I don't think that's the case at all. Going back to Mikey Madison, I believe she turned down the Star Wars role because deep down she knows that everybody is starting to hate these big blockbuster movies. And I'll tell you why. I mean, it's similar with Robert Pattinson when he was coming off of the Twilight sagas, which, don't get me started on that. He started doing independent movies, and people started to take him a little bit more seriously. If he had gone the other way and just kept on doing those kind of Twilight movies, he would have been stereotyped as that, and he wouldn't be able to break out of that role. And he wouldn't have been able to break out of those kind of characters. With the Marvel films, a lot of the time they inject what's called bathos into the film. Now, don't get that confused with pathos. Pathos means to direct some sort of empathy or emotions into the scene to create, a feeling for the audience.
It's not your fault.
Whereas bathos, Bathos, is you're doing the opposite. You've got a serious scene, but they inject a bit of comedy into it. It might just be a comedic one-liner.
Uh-oh.
And for me, it just takes away from the seriousness of the film. That's why I can't take these Marvel movies seriously. Because there'll be like a super serious scene that's playing out, a really tense scene, but then somebody will make a lame joke.
What just happened? Please tell me nobody kissed me.
And it just takes all the suspense and tension out because you know that there's no stakes at hand. The lead character doesn't care about... He's not really affected by the seriousness of the situation. Now, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Pratt and all that, they all do this in the Marvel movies. And it's not their fault. This is just the way the scriptwriters write it. They want to take away some of the tension for the younger audience. I get it. When you're trying to appeal to too much of a large audience, it just becomes muddled and confusing. And this is why when Oppenheimer came out, and which was a great film, but every time Robert Downey Jr. was in the scene, I kept expecting him to make some sort of ridiculous joke during one of the serious scenes. Thankfully, he never did, because maybe Christopher Nolan said, look, you can't do any of that. That's not what this movie is. And the performance was actually really good from Robert Downey Jr. Now, this is a rare exception, but thankfully he was able to pull that off and won an Academy Award for it. And it was really the fact that I hadn't seen Robert Downey Jr. in anything else but Marvel films for such a long time that this stigma became attached to him. And it really affected the way I viewed Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer while I was watching it. Just the quality of these films, so under par. Paul Rudd, Chris Pratt, all these actors that star in the Marvel movies, Brie Larson. That's what you're going to be known for. You're going to be known as a garbage sellout. You're no better than the Cookie Monster living out of a garbage can looking for his next cookie, or in their case, looking for the next Blockbuster movie. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy superhero movies and blockbuster movies, but when they use Bathos sparingly, films like the Dark Knight trilogy, Star Wars Rogue One, even the earlier Star Trek movies in the late 2000s, but of late they just seem to use it so much, like with Thor Love and Thunder. The film basically turned into a comedy, like in the new Star Wars where Luke throws his lightsaber over his shoulder so nonchalantly. It's supposed to show that he's done with the Force. It's supposed to be a joke, but it's done in a way where it just ruins Luke's credibility and everything that he's worked for in New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. A real cheap joke put in there that basically ruined the whole franchise because it just didn't fit with Luke's character at all. Leave a comment, let us know if you agree with what I've been talking about today. I do really hope that the younger generation of actors do decide to take on more independent roles rather than these same old Hollywood blockbuster cookie cutter templates that they've been pushing out over the last few years. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.